today's topic, my country is Chile. So let's first dissect the flag. Chile's flag is made up for three different colors. White stands for snowy peaks of the Andes, and blue is the ocean, and the 5-point star or the Lone Star is a guide to progress and honor. And of course, red stands for the blood of those who fought for the country. But in this case, mainly against their own country. Because, in fact, Chile, after its independence war against the Spanish, they had actually 2 civil wars and numerous governmental political conflicts, and of course, one major coup followed by a strong dictatorship against this country's civilians. That is the 1973 Chilean coup d'etat. In case you don't know what a coup d'etat is kind of a sudden seizure of power in an illegal way. But this kind of coup has a very dark influence on the country. So you maybe wonder why it happened and what had it become. So it all began in the 1970s when the Cold War had begun. And at that time, the United States was doing everything to stop communism. And when they find in the election, the Chilean election, when they find this guy over here, Salvador Allende, was in favor of the voters and was actually a Marxist. So the United States said, no, we can't let this guy to be the head of the government of the one of the most influential countries in South America. So the government actually secretly reached another guy named Roberto Villani. He was openly anti-Marxist and anti-Allende. So he and his military group tried to dispose Allende, but he has a very extreme ideology, and his extreme approach led to the failure of the mission, when he tried to kidnap the former commander-in-line, the Rene Schindler, by accidentally assassinating him. So that made the president only become more popular. But the president was kind of ability limited, and whether the U.S. had the role played or not in the bad economy that his policy led to, the bad economy actually led to the people's protests, and protests raced into strikes, and finally the rebellion. And this time the United States had everything to do with it. They supplied tons and tons of millions of dollars into the military group, and by the 11th of September 1973, the National Navy captured the city of Valparaiso and began the national coup d'etat. And this event was so violent that it didn't end until the president's suicide, or at least alleged suicide, because they claimed they saw it was President killing himself, and others claim that the president actually was murdered. But despite what kind of story you believe, the worst part is this guy, and Augusto Pinochet, he take the power. But the United States wasn't so, well, they don't care about how Augusto Pinochet was. He was a tyrant of the time, but he was at least not a communist. That's everything to do with the United States. So under his regime, he thought, I don't like this democratic city things. I am the head of the government, and everything I said will be done. So he dissolved the Congress and put a military junta in this country. Or you can see the military dictatorship is more like a South American way. And there's a lot of people, because of this junta, get rounded up. If someone dared to say about the whiff about his political opposition or pay sympathetic to the former government, he would run people out, run their families up, and including these children in the picture, their own gone missing. So this political event is actually absolutely one of the most violent in the history, and that put an end to the democracy that had been long ruling the Chilean country into a junta, and of course put people into continuous suffering and violence. And just like the historian Peter Wing would put it, it was absolutely one of the most violent events in Chilean history. Thank you.